Welcome, guys, to the MMOs.com podcast. This is episode 87 now, and this is Altai, joined this week by...
Omer?
Gumble.
Matt?
Sombra. Oh, I mean, Shirley.
Oh, God. All right. Before we get distracted by other nonsense, we have a very interesting weekly raid this week. So I actually want to talk a lot about that. So, Gumby, take it away.
So the other day, we were chit-chatting, and we stumbled upon a video. I believe Erhan posted it, and it was of a It was Omer. He wants credit.
I want credit.
And we found this very pristine internet cafe in China. It was beautiful. It looked corporate. I mean, I guess that's not a nice adjective, but it was very nice looking.
You
check out the video.
Embed the video. You had to just link it, huh?
No. We don't embed videos in the weekly raid. The point is this.
All right.
We asked ourselves, why have we never played games in an internet cafe first? And that answer is kind of obvious. And that really comes down to, I think we can all agree, that each one of us had a powerful enough computer at home in order to play computer games. I think most of us came from suburbias. We didn't live in cities. And even in cities in America, it's hard to find an internet cafe. But I'm wondering, would we have even played games in an internet cafe if they were available to us? I'm not sure. There's certainly a social aspect to it that we missed out on. But if we don't need to play because we have powerful enough computers, why would we bother? So, roundtable discussion. Who wants to take it first?
Well, the history here is in these countries where it's a big part of the culture, like China, Korea, and Japan, for example. When they initially got started with internet cafes, they were not as wealthy as America. Remember, computers came out in America first, and then the personal PC was priced at and made for American consumers. That was the price point and the technology level. So when they were available in these other countries that were poorer than America, they had to kind of rent them basically at internet cafes. So that's why the culture took off. That's why it never took off here. And the problem is in Japan and Korea, it's still a legacy. Like even though people have money, they kind of got used to the internet cafe thing. And here we never got used to it because we never had to. And that's why I'm going to say, even when they're available here, because there are some in Vegas, people will not go. Most people will not go.
All right.
Okay, any other takers here? Okay,
I'm going to say the problem is they're not well established in America, and I don't think anyone is really, at least not the ones we've seen, have been done right. I know my brother's talking about there's a couple in Vegas, but the problem is they're not very inviting, and they're located inside of like a Dave and Buster style environment where you have all these little kids running around. You have like these crane games. You have these arcade, like these really kiddie machines to win like plushies. It's not like an environment that's inviting to someone like me. And I mean, the room is very dark too. It kind of defeats the purpose of what I think an internet cafe should be. Like that video we saw looked awesome. The place is lit up. It looks nice. It looks like maybe a social gathering. I feel like if these were set up properly, it'd be a place I would like to go to. Like it just seems like a pretty fun place to chill, almost like a coffee shop, but for gamers.
I actually used to go to one of those.
Go ahead, take it away.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they had an internet cafe where I lived, and it was actually like a couple cities. It was like a good 20-minute drive, but like me and my friends would still go there, and the reason was because when you play at home, you play like League of Legends or Dota. I mean, back then it was only Dota, right? But when there's other people playing there, like it kind of makes it more fun because especially if you're like good at the game, right? It's like me and my friends used to go there just to shit on people. It was like the whole reason, and it was like really fun because like you'd go there and then like other people would like challenge you. They'd be like, "Hey, we got a group. Like, you want to play?" And then we'd be like, "Oh, sure." And then we'd play, and then we'd throw it down, and there's something really exciting about that. It's like kind of like the arcade mentality. Like it's kind of the new age, I guess, of arcades. Well, even though it's old, but there's something really charming about going to like an arcade and then like putting your quarter up and then playing against another person in Street Fighter. It's a lot different than online, because online, like, you're playing somebody and you have no idea who they are, and you're never gonna see you're never gonna see them. There's just something special about that, like in real life moment. So I mean, I paid for it even though I had the PC already. I had Dota. I still went there to play with my friends. So that place is really jank, though. The place.
I think it's cool because again, if you beat somebody in person at an internet cafe, it just feels like there's more meaning. You win online. It's it. You never see that guy again. There's no context to your victory. There's no like. But when you see the person, and it's easier to like, I guess, probably make friends too when they're right there. You see the same group of people all the time. because honestly, gamers are pretty antisocial people from the get-go. But I think if they find other gamers in the wild, as they say, when you actually have to go outside, no, they could be pretty social too. You talk about what games you play, and I think people are open about that.
I have to interject here. 2 points.
Interject.
All
One, somebody in our chat actually worked at an internet cafe, and he says,
yeah?
no lie, people try to jack off all the time. Okay, that's one. Two, my
Oh,
original-
dude. Oh my god. Like, I gotta say something about
All right, go.
that.
Just jump in. Jump in.
All right. So I went to, like, back when I was gonna go to Evo, like, for Street Fighter. So I was gonna go practice with some friends at this internet cafe, right? Because they also had Street Fighter. And there was, like, a kid in the back, and he was leaning back really far. And we were like, what the hell, right? Because we're just playing Street Fighter, and, like, somebody, like, looked like, just, dude, what is that guy doing, right? So one of the people in that group just walked over there casually, just, like, pretend like he's gonna go sit at one of the computers behind him. And he was watching videos on, like, how they kiss girls or something, and it was like, everyone was like, oh my god, this is so cringy. It was like watching videos of people kissing on YouTube, like tutorials
Oh
of
my
how
god,
they kiss.
that's so cringe.
Do you happen to remember
At least
the
he
name?
was studying.
Can you just PM me that link if you remember?
I don't know what the link was, man. That was hilarious. I've actually met Daigo before. Daigo.
All right, and what were you saying?
And my second
that was
point-
one. People
yes.
jacking off is one.
Yeah, second point. Listen, I've been to a couple internet cafes here and in Vegas, and a couple in Turkey, because Turkey is much poorer, especially when Omar and I were younger. Internet cafes were more common in Turkey because, like I said, the average person did not have a gaming PC. And I've watched videos online of gaming PCs in Korea, China, Japan. And Omar's talking about the social aspect and stuff. Listen, of every video I've seen and every real life experience, nobody is ever talking to anybody else. They're literally just staring in their own
game in the videos. That's why.
I'm just saying, I don't know. There's a guy walking with the camera.
We
and he's-
talk. We there was the one Turkish kid we made friends with at the internet cafe when we played Counter-Strike with him. All right, like that little do you not remember that?
All I remember is being yelled at.
That's part of the fun.
All right, that's a good story, actually. It kind of relates to this. So Omar and I were young. We were playing Counter-Strike at an internet cafe in Turkey. And we were on opposite teams. And you know the way Counter-Strike works is when you die, you have to wait until one team wins, and you can play again. So Omar and I are the last ones left, opposite teams. We're both camping on opposite ends. Because that's what you would do. Like, you want to win. You know, you just want to go slowly. And then, like, 5 minutes later, like, one adult came up to me. He's like, what are you doing? Go play. Like, go fight. We're paying to play. You guys are taking too long. I was like, oh, he's right. Like, I never thought of that. Like, because at home, you know, you just take your time. So that was a wake-up experience for me.
It was fun though. Come on.
I felt nervous. I don't know about you.
You know what I think would have been cool? Instead of having the local rec center in my town, I think this is how it works, is it has to be local. Instead of having the basketball courts and all that,
Yes.
all that crap,
That shit.
you had a like a LAN center, because then you're dealing with people, say, from your own high school and stuff, and then that social boundary that exists when you're in a public place like in the city, you know, isn't there. So you're more likely to turn it into a social experience. Whereas if you're in, say, a major city and you go to one, you know, you don't give a shit about these people. You're never going to run into them in your daily life. So that would be cool. I think, looking back, if I was a kid and instead of, like, if we didn't have some friend's basement to go to play computer games, we just go to the cafe, you know? We used to always, I mean, you know, I knew a lot of kids who would go to someone's house, they had a ton of computers, and you would all hang out and play games. And that was neat because you're with people you already know. I don't know if it could work like what we see here, where if I lived in, say, New York City, I would go to a cafe because my computer's already, you know, better, I guess, or I have everything I need.
Yeah.
So I think it could work, but, you know, it's a little too late now.
Man, I'm curious. Any thoughts on internet cafes? Do you think you would use one if there was one nearby you?
I just already pay for PCs. I can't see.
All right. I mean, it's
Play
you're
for
not
the
paying to basically you're paying for the experience. Honestly, I don't think it's really paying for the PC because most of us do have PCs at home.
I mean, a lot of the social things you're describing are also dependent on playing the same games. Highly unlikely.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta be said, dude. The rec room thing. I think we all say people do have PCs at home, right? And I think Aaron makes a point pretty much every other podcast that people have. The average person is playing on a Duke PC, you know. So having an environment they can play on a good PC that's not spyware ridden would actually be a value add for a lot of people. You know, people game on laptops, they game on toasters. So I think having a decent desktop is a thing that would actually add value to a lot of people too. I think we all have pretty good PCs because, I mean, we sit home all day and play video games, but not everyone has really top end PCs.
It's true.
Yeah, so I guess the basically question comes down to is I think what sells this point is, are people looking for that social experience?
Right.
My opinion is no. It's out of necessity, and it kind of is a legacy holdover now in the countries that no longer need that necessity, like Korea and Japan. So there's no really. So if I'm right, then the culture in Korea and Japan for PC cafes will wither away, right? As people kind of forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Would you play an internet cafe if there was one near you?
No, I'd go once, and then I'd be like, I get sweaty and like nervous, and then leave.
You wouldn't go like a lot.
Yeah,
like,
sweaty
it's
and
gonna
nervous
be-
and leave.
I'm just being honest. Like, what do you want from me? Like, I see a bunch of strangers playing games. I'm gonna say, hey, can I join you guys? No, I'm gonna be like, play my own game and then leave.
Just,
Guys, can I play with you?
and I mean, in my experience, I don't think it would work here because I don't know about you guys, but a lot of the games that I play, I can't even get people to like help out with like dungeons when there's not a party finder. If there's not a party finder pushing people into the dungeons where they don't have to communicate, they don't want to do it. Like they don't even want to do that. So I don't see it working.
Yep.
And just some context too. I mean, PC bangs in South Korea, they cost about $1 an hour to play in. I'm sure the ones in China are probably a bit cheaper, and obviously the price varies where you go. I suspect these places make a lot of money on selling snacks and sodas, stuff like that, because you can buy food, you can buy drinks, you can buy everything there. Plus, you're there for like 10 hours, so it adds up. The
The business logistics is a whole other issue. I don't think it'll work for the business either in America, because the places you want density, right? If you want a PC cafe, you want it in a crowded place. You don't want to put it in the middle of suburbia, right? You want a central location.
Right.
And a central location in America, the rent is is bleeding high. When I can charge $5 for a latte, or you can sit down for 5 hours, on a computer. Because the latte takes 2 minutes, right, to make, and then you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
The next, and it's a line. There's literally a line in New York at every single Starbucks. So you're gonna tell me for the price of a latte, someone can sit there and take up a valuable seat?
Oh, he didn't pay $5 an hour. He's not paying $1 an hour in America. In America, do more.
Okay, but if you jack up the price too much,
Yeah,
it'd be completely unappealing.
and it won't be in a very high rent area. I don't think
no
you
one's
need
gonna
it
go.
like, in Times Square.
Okay,
You need
we had a place in my town that did Xbox 360s and PS3s, I think, if I remember correctly, and they supplied all the games and everything. It was like $8 an hour.
Wow.
We went the one time, sat down for like an hour just to see what would happen. The entire time we were there, we were the only ones that went, like prime time on a weekend. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like nobody cared. Like it was too high of a price, and that was out in the middle of fucking nowhere out here.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, Matt. Because again, there is a esports bar which has all the high end PCs inside like a Dave and Buster's style place. We have a very high rent place, like a nice outdoor shopping mall, and it's like $4 an hour. I think 4 or 5 max, probably less if you buy more time. So it was cheaper there, but then I don't think they're making any money on it. I think they're making the money on the Dave and Buster's crap, and that's just kind of there right now.
The $8 pizza, like per slice.
Yeah. That's where they're making the money. Pricey pizza. But I mean, I just think it'd be nice, and I mean, if done right, I think it's a place I would want to hang out at. Instead of the coffee shop where I'm blowing money on $5 lattes, I'd rather go there.
But here's the thing: you're actually paying the $5, so they already got you in 2 minutes. Why are they gonna charge you?
They got me. All right, fine.
All right. All right, that was a fun talk. We got
We have a lot of fun drama this week. Actually, I think the funnest drama is the Nostalrius bit, and I think Gumby wrote up a couple articles on it. So Gumby, why don't you walk us through the Nostalrius drama?
My article was a shitpost, but I'll just give a summary, and I'm going to link Erhan the documents as we go along. So we're going to start in the beginning, which is a couple months ago, back in November. Nostalrius made an announcement at the end of BlizzCon. Nostalrius was a private vanilla WoW server. They had shut down after a cease and desist letter from Blizzard. And after BlizzCon, and after Blizzard decided not to make an announcement regarding legacy servers, Nostalrius said, okay, we're going to partner with this other private server called Elysium. We're going to give them our source code, and they're going to get all the Nostalrius characters that existed in our server. So they were essentially resurrecting Nostalrius through this other private server. Okay, flash forward. On January 7th, or in the middle of December, I think around Christmas time, they relaunched those Nostalrius servers. Everything was going good. On January 7th, they launched a fresh start server. Now, the other day, Nostalrius wrote a letter on their forum. I guess not a letter, but it was a whatchamacallit?
Forum post.
I guess it was a forum post. Let me see. I actually don't have it right here. Give me one second.
Don't worry. I like that. Don't worry.
And basically what it said was, we're requesting that Elysium stop using our source code, which was supposed to be made public and never was either. And we request that they delete all the characters that were from Nostalrius. And they said this in the letter. They said that they want to do this because they feel that their efforts so far have hurt the chances of Blizzard creating legacy servers. So the idea is they essentially want to become, I guess, ambassadors for creating for fostering the creation of legacy servers through Blizzard. And they feel that the perception of running a pirate server hurts that mission. In response, Elysium said, okay, we're not going to use your source code anymore. They're not deleting the Nostalrius characters. If your character is already claimed, then you get to keep it. But if you never claimed your character from Nostalrius until now, it's going to be gone. And they're going to switch to a new source code, which is called Anathema, which is supposed to happen in a couple weeks. So this was all the drama that went on. The public, I guess, didn't take too kindly to it. Some people did. There are a few conspiracies. And I refer to conspiracies as anything where we don't have specific evidence for it. It's quite interesting. I don't know, do you guys, before I keep going, do you guys have any thoughts on the whole shebang?
I think that wording is by Nostalrius is very interesting. So, for example, they said something like this. They just realized this doesn't help, like their image to Blizzard, but they didn't realize that when they made the threat months ago. Like, if you don't announce anything at BlizzCon, we're gonna make another server. You know, like, that was a direct threat at Blizzard, right? Mm-hmm. And they made it, and they went through with it, right? They gave all the content.
Yeah, they did. Yes.
Okay, so they went through with their threat. And everyone at the time was saying that's like a direct, throwdown. And now they just realize that maybe that's not going to put them in good light with Blizzard. That's hilarious, first of all.
All right.
And the second
and the wording, go ahead.
The wording.
I said it then, and the thing, I think what happened with some of them, they threw a temper tantrum. And then they looked at the fallout of what they did, and they're like, oh,
I'm not sure.
That's what I think.
I mean, from what the results of their temper tantrum were actually pretty cool. Like, we got a new server, Elysium. It was working. It was on. It was, very popular. What I found surprising was the wording on this original post. Now is a time for legacy community reunification. Like, they're trying to sell their backpedal as somehow good for the community. And I'll let someone else talk about the whole pirate server issue, because that someone brought that up. That was good.
Yeah, the wording is absolutely nuts. All right, I mean, if you look at the wording on the most recent Nostalrius post about it, they said, but moving from a fan server to a pirate server reputation makes it hard to convince that legacy fans have a place in the WoW community. The fact that Nostalrius used the term pirate server in all my years of gaming and playing on private servers, have you ever referred to a private server as a pirate server? No, it's
nobody
absurd.
says that.
That wording literally means nothing.
Well, one person says that. Blizzard.
Yeah, now the first person said it.
Blizzard says that.
Yeah.
Okay. Go on.
So the speculation is that Blizzard somehow threatened or cut a deal with whoever's left at Nostalrius, saying, "Listen, you're on our payroll now. Okay, I'm the boss." Okay, and then whoever's left at Nostalrius got browbeat into just towing the line and kind of serving Blizzard. And Elysium, for their part, I think they were pretty good Samaritans. They kept, if you already transferred your server, you get to keep it. If you transferred your character, you get to keep it. But in good faith to Nostalrius, they said, fine, we won't use your code, and we'll stop taking the transfers. Which they didn't have to do. It's not like Nostalrius owns a database of characters. If Elysium was a pirate server, so was Nostalrius, right?
Yeah.
So they don't own the code. So they were nice, but they were kind of playing ball. It's a nice community, I'm sure whoever's still left in Nostalrius and Elysium are in the same group of hackers or whatever, or modders. So they're just showing kind of courtesy to each other, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Go ahead, take it away.
It is just absurd, this letter. It's a major slap in the face. You cannot emphasize enough how much of a an insult this is. I mean, it's clearly taken so negatively by the community. There's like 50 pages of people bitching, saying that, okay, you guys got bought out by Blizzard. This is Blizzard writing this post. You can't go from 2 months ago saying that unless Blizzard specifically outlines a table, it's never going to happen. So we have to release our code. To, all right, we released our code, but this is going to hurt our chances. No, this is a complete 180. Like, how does that happen? Like, it's nuts. Nobody
Actually, go ahead, Matt.
So, I just want to put it in there just to say I don't think they got bought in any way, shape, or form.
Or threatened.
I threaten maybe
Okay.
that's because they can just because they turned around and gave the code to someone else. They could have threatened them like, get it back or we're gonna do something, But
all right.
But I don't think they bought them because Nostalrius literally had no cards for Blizzard to buy off of them. There's nothing. I mean, Nostalrius has no power in this situation anymore. They handed over the code.
Yeah,
they've already played their hand. I mean, there's nothing for Blizzard to buy. Therefore, I don't think they bought them. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like, Blizzard could have done anything other than buy them, and it just wouldn't make sense if they did buy them to me.
So do we all agree there's at least the most likely scenario is Blizzard had a hand, whether it's a threat?
No, actually, I was
No?
waiting till the end to say it. I actually do not think Blizzard is involved in this for a number of reasons. The biggest of which is that the last time Blizzard did anything, we immediately found out about it. And I would be very surprised if somebody in either of these teams didn't say something about it. And I don't see what would hold them back from saying that Blizzard is involved in this, if that's what they wanted to do. I actually think that whoever's left, this Viper person who wrote it, is dumb enough to think that this is actually the right choice and that this is actually going to help the community. I think you never attribute to malice, which could be attributed to stupidity. And I'm all for believing that, because remember, Elysium absorbed much of the Nostalrius staff. And I imagine whoever wasn't absorbed into that is the community manager or some type of marketer or someone who can't code or didn't want to be involved in the
Someone
project.
useless.
And when you read the post, when I read it, all I got was this sense of an enormous ego on the line, somebody who wants to be viewed as the ambassador of the legacy community. And it's very dismissive of other private servers, because let's remember, Nostalrius isn't the first private server, and it certainly won't be the last.
Mm-hmm.
And I also don't see what Blizzard would gain out of this by doing any of this, by orchestrating some type of surreptitious attack on Elysium or Nostalrius. They could just ignore the whole situation. It doesn't hurt them at all. They already went through this with Nostalrius in the first place. All it brought them was PR they had to manage. So why would Blizzard get involved again and have to deal with another headache?
Well,
So
there is one thing that is going to affect this. There is absolutely zero chance that they're releasing the code now.
Oh, no, they already announced. They're not. That source code will never be released now. I was looking it up. I thought it had been, and I was wrong. It's an earlier version of the code. Now that Nostalrius code will disappear into the ether.
Honestly, if Elysium comes out and says, here's all the source code that they gave us, it's free, it's public, I'd be like, God bless Elysium, all right? That's what Nostalrius should have done day one. They promised at the beginning that they would release all the code if anything happens, and then they didn't. And they held it hostage, and they did this negotiation with Blizzard. But they
With Mark Hurt.
Yeah, they said from the beginning that they were going to release the code, and they didn't, okay?
Yeah.
And the people holding on to that code are just assholes at this point, all right? You promised to do something, you recruited volunteers to help you make the code, and you don't release it. Elysium, release the goddamn code. Why not,
Elysium is changing. They won't now. Elysium has their own source code, which may be the old Elysium code. Hopefully it's not, because I hear it's buggy. Just copy pasta the Nostalrius code on.
Shit,
I don't even know how that works, but and you know what sucks? Go ahead, Shu.
Well, I said it definitely feels like there's some kind of like power play going on here. Like someone's like trying to like control like their reputation or something. How do I phrase it? It's like I feel like they're trying to like make themselves bigger than they are. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I'm curious about. Are people?
I was gonna say like.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say like what gives them the right to hold things hostage and stuff like that. Like who gives a shit about these people? You know. It's like.
Fair. All right.
To play on that, do you think when they transferred the Nostalrius to Elysium, you think there was some kind of agreement that like it would be called Nostalrius still, Because maybe it's just about the name. Like, if people are calling it Elysium, 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 maybe whoever's left at Nostalrius is now like, whoa, wait a minute, this is our characters, our code. You know, we want to...
Why would they write that post? Why would they write a post talking about uniting the legacy community?
Well, under their banner. Like, to go on what she was saying, maybe whoever's left at Nostalrius wants the brand Nostalrius to kind of be the standard bearer for the vanilla community.
It's certainly possible.
And now that they transferred their database and code to Elysium, Elysium's like, thanks, Nostalrius, but now it's Elysium. Forget Nostalrius.
Anathema is what it's called.
Maybe it's that.
There's actually a good theory somebody posted. Go ahead, Matt, though.
I think one of the biggest points that people are just kind of glossing over, though, is why did Elysium give in? Like, why bother? If this is a power play, why bother giving into it? Why not just go
to mitigate drama?
But what's the point in that?
Because overall, both teams agree outwardly that they want legacy servers, and this drama, as with all drama, it hurts those chances greatly. The Nostalrius' letter, I think, hurt it as much as it possibly could. Alone, all drama regarding private servers is bad media for them.
Mm-hmm. Somebody laid a theory that said Elysium will use the NOSCO. Nothing will change. This whole thing is a PR stunt for the original Nostalrius team to wash their hands of the project and not be linked to it anymore. That's possible too.
But there is the original Nostalrius teams working on Elysium.
Yeah, a bunch of them still are.
We don't know exactly how.
So what is it? When we say Nostalrius, I don't know who we're referring to anymore. The only person I know of is that Viper guy who wrote.
Who is Viper? Do we know who he is? Is a random guy? All right, Remo's conspiracy theory. All right, this is what happened. All the Nostalrius people that were anything moved on to Elysium. The guy who owns Nostalrius.org, the guy who bought that domain name, all right, is the guy who controls the data on Nostalrius.org, including the forum, including all the user accounts. And after all his friends left him, the actual developers who contributed to the project, he was the lone man standing. And he's like, fuck, I want to maybe he's like, give me some money to the Nostalrius developers, because he probably realizes Elysium is making money. I mean, they were selling gold or something that I'm sure they're monetizing, right?
No, it's just donations. Part of the original agreement was that they wouldn't monetize.
Interesting. Okay, fine. They're making money on donations. He feels like he's entitled to some of those donations, but he just owns the Nostalrius.org domain, and he laid a threat like, listen, give me $1,000, otherwise I'm gonna sabotage this shit. And they're like, no, go away. And then maybe he just felt like he posted all this nonsense on the forums to try getting some blackmail money. That's my conspiracy theory. Because who is Viper otherwise? It's some random douchebag. Who is this dude? He's a guy just posting the forum.
I think the only winner here is that one guy that's on Mark Kern's payroll now. Because he's getting paid.
That's true.
Well, I think official vanilla servers are still, infinitely away. We got no closer to them. But at least you can still play on vanilla servers. They're still around, and they will be around for a long time.
But to get off the whole topic of all the bullshit, I do think there's some interesting stats here. Maybe we could read. I do think they're interesting. That they had since the launch of the Elysium Fresh Start server, and this just shows you the influence of vanilla, or maybe not the influence of vanilla, but how big a private server can be. Mm-hmm. There were 30,500 players simultaneously online over the 4 realms. Since the launch of the Elysium PvP server. 17,000 players simultaneously online on the relaunch, the fresh start, which I remember because the queues were huge. And 52%, according to Elysium, of Nostalrius active accounts were transferred over 16 days. That's very impressive, I would say. Of course, this is just insights that Elysium posts, so we can't really verify them, but nonetheless, it is interesting, and it kind of coincides with what I've seen, at least anecdotally. Yeah, fun stuff. Hopefully the drama ends here.
All right.
I do think it's interesting how big the difference is in the numbers according to Nostalrius and according to Elysium. Nostalrius is closer to 10%.
Right. Yeah, they both reported different figures, which is also very odd. That's contradictions in data are never a good sign. Mm-hmm. So who knows what it really is.
All right, and then before we move on, since we're talking about private servers, another private server launched very recently, if not this week, perhaps last week, and that was Uthgard, which is a classic Dark Age of Camelot server.
Whoa, you mean a pirate server? Come on, get it right, Altai.
My bad. So this Dark Age of Camelot had about, I believe, 3 core expansions since release, and I think pretty much everyone, all the old school guys, hate the last one, which was Atlantis. So Uthgard is a classic server. It's got right now 1,700 people online currently, which is
That's actually hella impressive.
It's nowhere
how empty
near
the other ones are.
Yeah, it's nowhere near Elysium or anything, right? But for a game like Dark Age of Camelot, which was much older than WoW and much less known, it's still pretty impressive. 15,000 accounts created, 1,700 currently online, so that's pretty cool.
That's remarkable. I mean, I was on the official Dark Age of Camelot servers last week, and I made a new character. I was running around. The servers were all empty. Like I found so few people. I'm curious how busy this realm is going to be. I might just hop into this to see how many people are playing. Like if I can visualize like how many people 1,700 is. But keep in mind, the game does divide. There are 3 factions in Dark Age of Camelot. So like 1/3 of the player base in one faction, 1/3 another, and 1/3 another, and they got the whole like own continent. So it divides the player base into 3.
Yeah.
And taking it to something, I guess, a little more recent. Let's go to the hype me up of the week. All right, guys. I had a chance to play MapleStory 2 this last week, so I feel like I played it for a couple hours too, like 3 hours or so, and I had a good feel for the game. And I feel like it'd be a nice time to hype it up.
All right, let's
Oh
hear
well,
it.
please get me hype.
You told me it was super cute.
It is actually, first of all, I'm showing you some gameplay video over there. It is actually the cutest game I have played in a long time. It's probably the cutest MMORPG out there. And as somebody who played MapleStory 1, obviously you have big expectations for a game that you loved. And MapleStory 2, I think, is they didn't go like the full retard route that Ragnarok Online 2 went with, the massive 3D. It's a 3D world instead of, the isometric 2.5D. I think it was a logical progression for the game. And it was actually a lot of fun. But essentially, it's instead of side-scrolling, you have an isometric view. The graphics are very Minecraft meets Trove-esque meets MapleStory. And I think it works really well for the game. It's not the same, iconic side-scrolling game, but as a new game, it had to be something different. And I think right away, Nexon realized how much money MapleStory still makes, and they didn't want to destroy their old game, so they made MapleStory 2 different enough. It's also worth mentioning that the game is not out in North America yet, and I played on the Korean version. There's only one server on the Korean version, but there's 100 channels, and the servers, it says it's hot, it's pretty busy. I mean, the game is not nearly as popular as MapleStory 1, but people do play it. And a North American release is probably still a ways away. At the earliest, probably by the end of the year. That's the earliest because they are hiring a producer for the game in the California office. So they are making strides to consider moving it to the West. And as I played it, I showed my brother as well. Based on what I've seen of the game so far, I think actually the game lends itself, I think it'll be more popular in America than it will in South Korea. Because it follows a lot, it's not very grindy the way MapleStory is, and there's a lot more to do. The core gameplay is essentially MapleStory meets HeroWarz / Dragon Nest with some actiony combat meets Second Life. I mean, there is some actual a lot of non-combat stuff in the game, which I thought was amazing. I mean, you have persistent world housing. I mean, we've had so many games of housing, right? From so many games have tried housing, but so few games do persistent world housing. And in MapleStory 2, it just works. It's not rocket science. I mean, even the busy towns, you can buy a house on certain plots. And there's 100 channels, so the quantity is not super limited either. Pretty much whoever wants a house can get one because of all the channels. And houses can be customized. The facades can be customized. I'm walking around outside town. I see this guy's YouTube and Twitch links on top of his house, right, as a banner. So he's advertising his YouTube and Twitch stream in the game. I'm in the town, right, with the capital, and there's a poster, right, and on that poster, anyone can put a picture on that poster. I obviously I assume it's moderated, otherwise there'd be Lemon Party on there or some other porn. But some guy put a picture of this Asian girl. I guess I don't know if his girlfriend or some random Asian girl. I don't know, but there's a picture of an Asian girl there. And I guess if you pay money in game, you can put your picture there instead. So there's all these cool social stuff in MapleStory 2 that you don't see in other MMORPGs. It's not a typical Korean grinder either. There's a lot more to do than just grind. And I thought it was incredible.
Like you said that there was persistent world housing and because of the channels, but are they just gonna run out of channels eventually? I mean, that's what happened in Final Fantasy too. It was huge at first. People were like, oh, look how big this is, this area, and there's so many wards, and it's full now. So it's isn't it just a matter of time?
But also keep in mind, there's 100 channels, and every map has a bunch of plots, right? And actually, the world is so big too that you can get plots. There's 100 channels, and every map has housing spots. I've seen empty spots outside town too, some of the busier towns. So you can still find slots. I mean, obviously, if the game gets so popular, they might have to increase the number of channels. I mean, but that's an easy tweak they can make.
Yeah.
You know, you go from 100 channels to 200 channels if you have to.
Also,
And obviously, the busiest, the best spots will be taken, obviously.
yeah, I was gonna say the best spots and the best towns might be taken, but I'm sure on on channel 65 in the middle of like desert, you'll find a house.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that it is kind of similar to MapleStory in 3D, and what happened when they did that is they created something that's basically just an ARPG.
Yeah, you have an ARPG vibes from it too, and it ends up working because I mean, honestly, even MapleStory as a side-scrolling game had that actiony element to it. It wasn't just a tab targeting game. But I think they created something that actually worked really well for it, though. You have really cute animations. I told Shur earlier too. It has some of the really cool aspects of Mabinogi, where when you're in town, you'll hear very familiar like anime music, and it's not the game's music. It's actually players can actually make their own music in the game and play various instruments. So I'm walking through town and somebody comments on my stream, "Holy crap, that's the music from Yuri on Ice." It's an anime that my brother and I actually just ended up watching. And people are saying in the chat, Legend of Korra, Legend of Korra. They're asking the guy to play a theme song from Legend of Korra. So people are requesting music from the game, from people in the game. So there's so much like more going on than just the core gameplay. There's these mini games built into the game. Every once in a while, you can like do this trivia game where you're kind of in a platform, and it asks you true or false questions. You go on which side of the map that you want to go on, true or false. And every round you survive, you get experience. You get rewards for doing these simple mini games. They're trying to create a world where it's not just the core grinding gameplay. You know, crafters can customize some of the gear they craft and like put designs on them. Housing is almost like Animal Crossing, where you can collect all these amazing like rares and stuff. And I really liked what I saw. I had issues playing on the Korean version because it was all in Korean. But honestly, after playing it, I am mega hype for the North American eventual release.
Yep.
And yeah,
It looks
it's a
nice.
remarkable game. It's a very charming
You
game.
said that you think it could be successful in North America, and
More so than Korea, I said. More so.
just
Even.
because it did not do well in Korea, it's still not doing well in Korea, unless I'm wrong.
No, it's fair to say it's not doing well. But I think the way the game is designed, and from what I've seen, I think Westerners will like it more. I mean, it's not a traditional, I guess, ready, set, go,
mindless
grind,
grinder.
Yes, it's not a mindless grinder. And I think sometimes, I hate to say this, but sometimes, like, I look at it like, holy shit, like, Americans would love this game. But it's not as big in Korea. People still do play it, but it's just not, a big hit.
I think the West likes
Alright.
thinking games like creative games like Minecraft, Terraria, Trove, more than the just mindless grinders. And in Asia,
This kind of looks like it too, right? Like
Yeah,
kind
it has that look.
aesthetic, you know?
And I actually really love the aesthetic in the game. I mean, it's a mix of Minecraft and MapleStory, right? But I think it ends up working for it. And this game in 10 years, it will still look charming. They're not going for like, and obviously Ragnarok Online 2 is going to look like shit in 5 years. I mean, it still looks like it's nothing special, But this is the artistic style in this game kind of makes it timeless, the same way MapleStory 1 is timeless. And
It's true. It definitely has the right aesthetic going for it, and there's definitely something important about making your game timeless, so it doesn't look like Like I couldn't play Rose these days, or similar Ragnarok Online 2 Korean MMORPGs, but it's got. I'm looking at the video, and all I can think is it stinks of charm, and that's a good thing.
It's again, you
Charm
can see
gets
the town,
in the door.
those houses. Like people are putting their guilds on there. You can literally put whatever you want on your banners outside your house. People put like letters, they put pictures. Like what other MMORPG besides Second Life, right, has this level of like customization? And Second Life isn't even a fair example because that game is like unintuitive to ass. It's like disgusting, It's like it's not even a game.
You need somebody to teach you how to play that game, pretty much.
Yeah, but this is simple, and it's got like the amazing customization, the housing, and get this, guys. Like I had a bit of a misadventure in MapleStory too. It took me like 50 minutes to correct my mistake. Essentially, I walked into a random house outside town, right? And I'm checking his house out. He's got some cool shit. He's got some teleporters in his house, like 5 teleporters, 6 teleporters. I'm like, hey, I want to go. Let's see where these go, right? So I walk into a teleporter in his house, and it teleports me across the world, right? I'm in a level 60 zone, like level 50 zone now. And the monsters are one-shotting me, and I'm like level 13. I'm like, shit, how do I get out of here? So I'll get myself killed, right? So I can respawn back in town. I get myself killed. I spawn in like a respawn zone in the map I was just in. So I am literally stuck in a level 50 zone.
Oh my god.
And I was trying to find my way back, dodging enemies, going across maps, but the world is so big. It takes forever to get back to town. and I'm dying, trying to find like, a taxi back, and no luck. 45 minutes in, somebody from my stream messages me, some English speaker. He's like, add me to your friends, and he invited me to his house. So if you're friends with them, you can just go into their house whenever you want, right? So I joined. I went into his house, and in his house is teleporter back to town. And I was like, thank God. But the point is, like, not only are houses really cool, like Animal Crossing-esque, like collection mini games built in and customization, there's actually utility there. You know, you can have a house and have teleporters like your favorite maps in the game, your favorite dungeons. I just thought like we've never seen this in an MMORPG before. You know, these are all like unique ideas being implemented in an Asian game of all things. You know, we typically do view Asian games as less, innovative, but I thought this was remarkable. They did so many things different, and no, again, this is combining Mabinogi, combining Second Life, combining MapleStory, and combining something like HeroWarz or Dragon Nest. And I thought, there's so much here that there's so much potential here, right? And they created a coherent game out of it. I mean, I don't know about the end game, obviously, but if they polish up and release in the West, I think it'll do amazing in America, much more so than Asia.
There hasn't been really a good anime game that came out recently either. Because like I really want one like that, kind of like to fill like that Mabinogi gap, and there hasn't been anything. So what you said about it maybe doing well, like maybe that'll contribute to it, because anime is still pretty popular in America and they'll do really well.
You have games like Twin Saga, but they're not like in depth. They are what they are.
I had a question though. Do you know anything about crafting in the game? Like how
crafting is supposed to be a huge part of the game, and there's actually a crafting tutorial for me. You can see in the video. It comes up every time I load to a new map, but it's I didn't know what menus to click, so I couldn't really explore it as much as I wanted to. But apparently, you can customize like furniture. You can like put your own brand on like stuff you make.
Oh my god!
All that stuff seems like really, really awesome, and it's obviously I had to play it more. But again, obviously menus make it issues. But I think there's an English patch for some of the menus that make it a little bit easier. And there are a few other English speakers in the game, like the one guy who helped me out. So that was nice.
The guy has a car. What the fuck?
It's almost like Terra, right? You see people with the vehicles.
Great.
And you can do the emotes themselves are like literally heartwarmingly cute when you do them. And there's even like a little like phone app. You click on it, it takes like a selfie in the game, right? There's a little phone screen comes up. You can take selfies of yourself doing poses. You can like send them to people. Like there's so many cool little like elements of the game that are non-combat oriented, which I think what makes MMORPGs great. And obviously this is all very hype because I am genuinely hyped for this game. I didn't think it was a big deal because I heard about it in the past. I heard it wasn't doing great, and I've seen videos, but I didn't know what to expect. But having played it for a couple hours, it's already like, all right, this game could do remarkably well. I want it to come out in America already.
I've heard that a lot of the issues that people have with MapleStory 2 is that it doesn't have a lot of content.
Yeah, that could be an issue if they run out of stuff to do, but I feel like in a game like this, you can always like the things you can throw at the game are there's so much beyond the combat. Like the combat actually works. It feels super fluid, right? You have skill trees, you have all these dungeons you can see right now, but like you can just add more mini games. You can add more like housing stuff. You can add more like crafting stuff. There's like the way the game is set up is like the typical grind and progression isn't everything.
I mean, you're talking about lack of content. I literally just saw someone fly by with like on a paper airplane, and like there's people driving around in cars, riding bikes, jumping around. Like it seems like a lot of the content is more just like what people do in the game, hanging out and making all these pictures and stuff.
Dare I say, sandbox like there was a guy with like a bag over his head like as a cosmetic. It looks so absurd. Like the amount of like weird cosmetics and stuff you see in the game were like amazing. Like you look at one player, he looks like a really cute character. One guy's got like a bag on his head with a weird face on it, playing the piano.
There was that rainbow one. There was like a giant rainbow one in the video. Like this guy ran by you, and he was wearing like a rainbow bag on his head, and he had like a giant like popsicle like weapon or something.
Yeah, there's crazy stuff in this game. And look, if you're a MapleStory 1 purist, this is not maybe a logical upgrade from MapleStory 1. And I think MapleStory 1 will, forever still be amazing. It still makes over $100 million a year. But I think it's a nice kind of game. That's my final thoughts on this. Curious if you guys have any questions, or how do you guys feel about it?
Well, I feel like if you want to try the game for yourself or try any other Nexon Korea game,
oh boy, here
just check out the link below our Twitch channel for our Nexon account. There it is. Soul Worker also just came out today, I believe, in Korea. Before this, it was only available in Japan, and we also did a Sunday Funday for that a few weeks back.
But yeah, you don't need a VPN, which is nice. You just need a Nexon Korea account.
I know a lot of you guys have been asking how to support the site. There's a $25 donation button if you don't, even if you don't want the account.
Whoa.
There you go. But you will get an account. We do sell 10-cent QQ and Nixon verified Korea accounts if you want them. Obviously, any sales there support us, and we'll make sure the account works before you get it.
Is
And
there an
beautiful
employee
thing.
discount?
Oh, shoot, don't worry. If you want
I'm
one, we
just
give you
kidding.
free.
I'm just kidding.
All right, shoot, don't worry. We got you for free if you want one. And we might do a giveaway for some of those later too, just for fun.
I'm like watching this video that you posted of it without any sound, and it's just like, just you walking around the town is entertaining. Just like looking at what's going on.
Yeah.
Like there's like that big mob of people like punching each other or something, like a giant circle.
Doesn't it look so charming?
I like the cheese house that you keep walking up to. It's like a giant piece of cheese, and then there's a birthday cake house right next to it. What a cool game.
How kawaii is my character, though? That's what matters.
You don't. Where's your mount though?
I don't have a mount yet. I'm a peasant.
Dude, this guy is riding on a cow. This guy right next to you right now, he's riding a cow while lying on his back, looking at the sky. What a good game.
But yeah, I'm hype. Again, there's no firm release date on a Western version. All we know is they did make some progress recently on job hirings in California for, I guess, a producer for the game. So hopefully late 2017 or early 2018. Until then, we're just speculating. So that's what I'm hoping for.
That's sad, unfortunately.
All right, and move on.
What's our next topic?
Oh, I guess this is worth talking about. If we're talking about what we played, and we played MapleStory 2. He recommended a mobile game to me months ago, and I ignored it because it's a mobile game. You know how good could it be? It's probably just garbage.
Erhan ignoring things? What a surprise! Erhan ignoring people? Come on, he would never do that.
Not our Erhan.
So finally, I said, let me give this a fair shake. I don't know what this is. Let's just see. So the game was Clash Royale.
Yeah, what's the name?
The game is Clash Royale. It's basically
Never heard of that one.
The best way I can describe it is real-time Hearthstone on your phone. You just drop these. You make decks of 8 cards. You drop the little guys, and they go fight. I know it looks silly and stupid, but it's actually very competitive, and it kind of puts a lot of PC gamers to shame. And here's why. One, and most importantly, every game is a ranked game, and there's no PvE, only PvP. So anyone out there who's playing League of Legends, Dota, Overwatch, Battle Royale, like, I'm too scared to play ranked. I want to play regular, casual. You're more casual than a mobile gamer right now. By the way, that's true. This is the top mobile game out there right now. So this is the top earner. So if you ever play unranked in any of these PC games, you are more casual than a mobile gamer today. Congratulations. There it is. If you haven't played this game, play it.
But I think it is true. Literally every game is ranked, and you always see your rating, and it works. Like I see people play casual in Overwatch, and I always ask them, like, why are you playing casual? Just play ranked, right? It's just people try harder. Like, oh, I'm scared. I'm scared to play ranked. I mean, and they play like. It's not even that they're casual. They play thousands of hours of Overwatch and League, and all these games, but they play unranked. And
there's some merit to casual, though.
What?
What do you mean?
Like just having a casual game just for like, if you just want to like do something stupid or something like that. But like
you can do that in ranked.
In Clash Royale, you are forced to try new decks, new cards in ranked because there is no unranked mode.
I mean, I personally like ranked. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like, I think it's a good idea to have a casual mode maybe.
I will clarify. If you know you're casual and you admit it, right? It's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna rip on you. But I hear a lot of PC gamers, especially League and Dota gamers, less Overwatch and Battle Royale, just saying like how lame mobile games are and how like cool they are for playing PC games, right? You hear that sometimes.
We hear that all the time on here on the stream. Don't worry.
Yeah. So the people I'm actually going after those kind of people. If the guys that just play casual and they know they're just playing for fun or whatever, they don't care. Yeah, I'm not going after them. But there are a lot of PC gamers that are kind of full of themselves, right? So it's.
I think so too.
Guys, yeah.
I didn't think a game that is only PvP, only ranked, would fit like the mobile like world, right? But this is a game that kind of proves that it works, I agree. I still play playing PC games, and a lot of mobile games are casual, but Clash Royale really puts a lot of those people to shame that are elitist.
Isn't Clash of Clans PvP only as well?
Yes.
Aren't a lot of mobile games technically PvP only? They're just asynchronous.
Yes, but it's a different kind of game too. A strategy game.
Fair
This is
enough.
like this is comparable to Hearthstone almost, like where there's an unranked
Okay.
version and a ranked version. Some people never play ranked in Hearthstone either. They only play casual games.
Okay. Never played Hearthstone.
And this is
That's
kind of
remarkable.
relevant to Battle Right, because when Battle Right first came out, the queue was only ranked, right?
Right.
And then recently they added an unranked, which I think was a step in the wrong direction, but there it is.
You know my problem? I don't want to get off topic. We've had this conversation before. My biggest problem with ranked is what I saw happen in Overwatch, or with ranked and unranked, and it's that depending on your player base, sometimes the player base will just treat unranked like a shit show and just not care. And sometimes you want to play unranked to test like a build or something. You want to try some strategy out or something. But you can never get an unranked team to cooperate, at least in my experience.
No, that's true. That never
Back when I
happened.
was playing Overwatch all the time. Just because once you have that dichotomy, you're like, okay, fuck unranked. I'm all about ranked. Who cares? So I think that comes down to your player base more than the actual ranked unranked maybe. Oh yeah.
Though it's like it's a farce of what the actual game is.
Oh yeah.
But
For
I mean,
sure.
look at Counter-Strike. Have you tried Counter-Strike unranked? It's not even the same game.
It's a shit show.
It's
a number of
literally
people-
not even. It's not even the same game.
How many
Like
people
12
can
on
we
12 or
stack?
something stupid.
Yeah, Counter-Strike's supposed to be like
5 on 5.
5-on-5. Yes. Sorry. Well, I had a mind blank there. But then the casual mode's like 10v10, drop out whatever you want. And it's so
They got gun
ridiculous.
mode on.
Doesn't have the same rules.
You start with extra armor. You start with bullet. Like what is? It's so silly.
One
I've had
guy's
people
dancing
telling me,
it's
like-
scouts.
Like, I'm afraid to play ranked, so I'm gonna play casual until I know how to play the game. Like, you're not gonna know how to play the game by playing that shit. It's not even the same.
And also, here's a bigger problem. Why is it okay? Let's say your rank in a game is like is 50. That's out of 100, whatever, right? 50. Why are you ashamed or scared of that? Like, just play have fun. If you're not having fun, because the number next to your name is 50 instead of 60, just don't play that game. Like, I don't get it. Like, who cares what your score is?
Yo, we live in a world where everyone is a special snowflake and we're all above average, right? And the moment the game tells us we're not special and we're below average is the moment it hurts our feelings, all right?
Oh.
I feel like the pussification of gamers, all right?
Well,
It's a real
the
issue.
thing is also with that though, it's like we live in a world where you play ranked and people will just shit talk you for your rank though. To be completely honest, like I don't care, but I mean, like you know what I've seen pretty much. It's like when I play Sombra in Overwatch, I get so much shit in that game that like I can imagine that getting to some people.
Yeah.
Remember, people are naturally competitive number one, and we are super susceptible to peer pressure. I mean, every time someone doesn't like my article, I cry for a good hour. But
Wow.
so I
Confessions
do
from
get why
Coffee.
people care about their rank, because you don't want to deal with like rank 50 faggot piece of shit. Like it's annoying, right? And so you're just like, all right, fuck, I'm not gonna play the game. It's very hard. I think it's harder to not care than we make it out to be. It's like, we say it, but
I mean, doesn't that kind
we're
of matter?
hardwired to care.
I guess.
I
Oh, go ahead.
I maintain that the reason that pay to win works is because we do care. We want to be
Yeah,
better
yeah,
than
that's-
someone else.
That's a good point. I think Matt's right. Definitely.
But from my experience, like for example, whatever game we're talking about, I only if I say I play ranked, right? Everyone in the game with me is around my level, so they can't make fun
Yeah.
of me because then they're making fun of themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't
yeah.
get it. Like, haha, you're rank 8, and I'm like, wait
So
a minute,
you-
so you're 8. You're either 7, 8, or 9. You're kind of close to me, dude. What are you complaining about? And if you're
That's
playing
true.
with your real life friends, right, and you don't want them to know, don't they already know where you are, regardless
Yeah.
of the number? Like you can't
do.
you can't hide it from your people who know you in real life, like who play with games with you regularly. Like even if you don't rank, queue for ranked, they kind of know where you're at if they're your real life. So I don't know who this is trying to protect from who. I don't know.
Maybe
Because-
it's just part of our self-reflection. We tie our worth to what we spend the most time doing. So I don't know.
My favorite comeback in League is when somebody calls you trash. Is like, I've done it all the time. There's always a comeback. He's like, listen, I'm trash. You're in the same trash rating as me. You must be trash too, bro. And like they don't say anything. Like, wait a minute, that is how matchmaking works. And they shut up. Like you're always playing with people that you know anyway.
That's true.
All right, somebody actually mentioned League of Angels in the comment that he's diamond rank in League of Angels, and I wanted to show this off last week, but I forgot to. I believe the most misleading ad in video game history. Check it out.
I was actually muted. I
Oh,
said,
rip.
I said, I actually use that a lot now. What you
Yeah,
said.
it's good. Yeah, you should check out this
Wait.
ad.
Let me see.
And I want the stream to look at this ad for a moment. This is the League of Angels ad, League of Angels 2 ad on Facebook. And I thought this was hilariously misleading. Because if you look at that little video they show off, right? And then you look at the actual gameplay in League of Angels, why would they show off that video? There's literally zero resemblance. Zero.
It's like a sci-fi guy with a gun, and the game is just like this medieval.
It's 3D. These models are 3D. These stats are like 3D. What is this?
I think the better question is why does it have LB and RB like on an Xbox controller?
Yeah. Another wonderful question. Why is there LB and RB on the top left and right of that screen?
Wait, this isn't even how the game looks like?
Shoot,
I'm
look
confused. I've never played it.
Well, it has
Okay.
3D models in game. They're 3D now with
No,
the sub.
but look at the screenshot I linked versus this video. Side by what is this? How is this a thing? And why is there LB and RB, as Matt pointed out, that you can see in the video? Like, this is not an Xbox
They
controller
just
game.
took it from a different game.
They just made this shit up.
Oh my god, it's nonsensical. Like, how do they? And the ad says blaze the screen. What does that even mean? Blaze the screen.
Wait, where's that? Is that the end?
It's on the Facebook ad itself, like right below the video. It literally makes no kind of sense.
Oh, place the screen.
League of Angels 2, boys.
And
Blaze the screen.
I just want to bring up another competitive point. Someone mentioned in chat, a good point. Competitive mode is there for, like, I guess, more serious competitive play for ranked. While not, if you just want to do shits and giggles, you can play regular. My only counter to that would be, if you are queuing against people who are just shits and giggling, maybe you're not that competitive. And if you are competitive, you will only be queuing against people who similarly take it very seriously and competitively and objectively. So it's reflect on yourself if you're in the shit tier and you're always playing against goofers,
Goobers.
Yeah, if you play ranked and you constantly play for shits and giggles, you're going to be in that low rank anyway, so it's no big deal.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
All right, so in this awkward silence here, more games I've played. I played. All right, so people made fun of me in the YouTube comments for the whole no soul thing, or did they make fun of Sean? I don't remember. They made fun of one of us for the no soul thing on Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh yeah,
And-
I said that.
And since then, I have sat down and put at least another 15 hours into the game. I made a new character, a Khajiit, because Khajiit Master Race. I've gotten to about level 15, and I've been playing with Kat. We ditched out of the main storyline because it was kind of dull to keep going back to the Harborage, and we went straight for the Thieves Guild, and I've been having a lot of fun with the Thieves Guild. Thieves Guild is straight up sneaking around like all the time. These giant like Metal Gear Solid-esque like maps where you have to avoid people, and I've been having a lot of fun with that.
I've seen you played a lot, Matt.
Yeah. So I know you were kind of the one saying the game was kind of forgettable, the art style at least. Has it grown on you, or is that still the weakest point?
It's still kind of the weakest point. I mean, the graphics are high quality, but they're still very like. I don't want to say generic because they're not generic. It's just something about them is forgettable.
But it's a fun game. We played it, and I think we all kind of had a pretty good time with that one. So that's good. It's good that you're still playing it.
I mean, the gameplay is still really good. I mean, I never said the gameplay was bad. It's just
I know.
It has a few like extraneous details that make it a little less than desirable. That's all.
I think the problem is a lot of people are very defensive about the franchises and games they really love. Like, some people, like, you can never say something bad about my favorite game. But I think, I don't think when we criticize stuff like the art style, it's not like we're bashing the game. It's our opinion, obviously, and it could be wrong, too. Just how we feel. And I think even my favorite games, there's something wrong with, you can find nitpicks on any game. It is what it is. I think the Elder Scrolls franchise has a lot of, diehard fans that took what you guys said as, like,
Really? And
attacking their gospel. Yeah.
was that in the YouTube comments?
Yes, yeah, some of the people are like, how could you say that art style is forgettable? It's fucking beautiful. It's like, all right, buddy, relax. The game's graphics are good.
That's like I like apples, you like oranges. It's not like you can't disagree with me on my opinion on the art style.
Well, it's an objective evaluation. All right,
course,
this is journalism. Can you get your objective shit together?
We use Venn diagrams, all right? Shit's real.
I still can't play it first person though. I have to play third person.
Same. It's same. It's so hard to play third person, first person rather. I actually want to play some more of this too. I remember a lot of fun with this video, but again, my MMO platter is quite large.
If the levels don't matter, maybe we can do a dungeon again sometime. If we can skip right to the next dungeon, that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't want to grind.
I don't know how it scales.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of what we're playing too, we did do a video for Moonlight Blade recently. Want a quick recap how what we all felt about that game, because that video did quite well. A lot of people were interested in Moonlight Blade.
Everyone loves what they can't have, and this game is only out in China. We did it for a Grindfest Friday, and I think the general consensus was it's better than the other Chinese MMORPGs that are similar, like Revelation.
Or any other wuxia MMORPG. So any type of martial arts, slight fantasy themed MMORPG, I do think Moonlight Blade shines the brightest.
It's got a drunken fist character. That's all it needs.
I will say this: since I beat my brother in a duel in the post game twice,
Oh, come on.
I will say this has
Wow.
the best and most skillful combat in
most skillful
in any
now.
MMORPG ever, in every game ever released in history.
Any
okay?
video game
Any
ever,
video-
right?
More than Blade and Soul.
Oh, billion times more.
He's only saying that because he beat me in a duel, because his range character was OP or something, all right?
Nice.
And with that, no, I think the game is coming. Revelation Online is coming out to closed beta 3 later this week on the 19th.
It certainly is on my birthday. And you know what's funny?
Wow.
Last year, Blade and Soul released on January 19th. So they do it just for me. You're welcome.
Also, Ragnarok Mobile is going into open
they
beta
do
on
it, they
January
know.
19th.
Yeah, actually,
There you
I'll do
go.
it for Ragnarok Mobile, because it's fucking Ragnarok, and I gotta cover it, even though it's not English, but we'll figure it out.
But,
It is Ragnarok. You'll find out. You'll figure it out.
back to Moonlight Blade for a second. Yeah, I really like it. The combat system's pretty neat. You can pick people up and throw them on the ground, and you can beat them up, stuff like that. And I thought that was pretty cool. It's
Can you
just
compare it to Blade and Soul? Because I didn't actually play the game, so
It's not as tactical.
Sort of, but not really. It's missing an active dodge that works the way that Blade and Soul does, and an active block. The active dodge works more in more tab targeting MMOs where you have the dodge, and it kind of works, but it's not you can't do those hair barely missing moments. You know what I mean?
But if you can predict what abilities they're going to use, you can do the active dodge. But there is no active block, 100%, and it's not as.
No, what I'm saying is it has an active dodge. It's not you're not going to be using the iframes the same way you would in a game with Blade and Soul. It's more you just use it to get out. It's more of a mobility thing than it is anything else.
it seems kind of like a wasted.
It's not. Yeah, it's not quite like Blade and Soul where you can just totally dominate. If they spam all their skills, they're gonna hit some.
It also
you have to aim them, though. You have to aim them.
It also perhaps suffers from the fact that a lot of even the basics are AoEs. I mean, a lot of your attacks are AoEs and arc, and it's very obvious that it's meant to be mostly up against, the PvE at least is meant to be up against a lot of enemies at once because it hits all of them in that arc. I don't know how the PvP is yet because I haven't gotten there, but it's very clearly meant to be very Dynasty Warriors-esque, and that you hit everything and you can knock them into the air and you can knock them on the ground, and it's a lot of beating the shit out of a lot of things at once. But I imagine the PvP changes that.
Interesting. Yeah. The problem is if you want to do some of that PvP stuff in the Chinese version, it's going to be difficult because ping will play a pretty big role. Unfortunately.
Yeah, if you're playing from the East Coast, you will have 230 at the minimum. That's your minimum ping, and it's pretty bad. It spikes to over 300, and I don't have a way to improve that yet. So it's been pretty bad.
Most importantly, if you want to try this game, it's only available in China, but luckily, the crew here has some Tencent QQ accounts available for sale in the link below in the Twitch description. And these will also let you play Moonlight Blade along with a whole bunch of other games that are on the Tencent launcher. So if you're interested and you like the graphics, what you see here, give it a shot.
Revelation Online is going to be CBT3 again this week. Do you think hype is going to carry over? Because Revelation 1 and 2 closed betas were hella packed.
Yes, I do. I do think the hype's going to carry over. I think some people are still kind of they're in purgatory. They're looking for the next game to play. They've probably played CBT1, CBT2. I don't know if the characters carry over. I do know the max level's been raised to over 60.
Characters are continuing to carry over for the time being. They won't go into open beta, I bet, but for now.
That makes sense, though, because it would definitely suck to repeat the same content, however many closed betas they plan on having.
Especially up to level 69.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that there's new content, I think many people whoever stuck around for CBT2, I think they'll definitely continue playing. I may even reinstall it and check it out again. Just like we talked about before, I mean, I do think it is the big dog on the horizon, and it's guaranteed to be coming out soonish.
We should clarify too, because we said some few things in the Moonlight Blade stream that were a little bit inaccurate. Moonlight Blade is actually a very popular game in China. We probably played on an M-tier server because it was a recommended server. Because we did see it on like the top list for some of the most popular games. So Moonlight Blade is definitely bigger than Revelation Online currently is in China.
Number 11.
Really? Okay.
And Revelation is number 22, which means that it's at least twice as popular. But what it really means is that it's probably more like 5 times as popular.
Yeah.
Right.
And one more thing, guys. If you guys want to play Revelation Online, new round of closed beta testing, if you ever got a closed beta key in the past, you do not need a new one. However, if you never got a key and you want to play the game, we have a giveaway for you guys right now in the stream. I'm going to give you guys all keys. And I'm going to drop the link in the chat. It should be enough for everyone in here if they want one. And remember, you do not need one if you got a key in the past. It's for people that never had a Revelation key and they want to check out the next round of CBT3.
Wait, did you say we have keys?
We got keys. I got them during the stream, and I'm giving them away right now.
I had no idea.
Wow, that's a beautiful link, uncategorized.
Yeah, I don't want anyone else to get it. Nobody else is getting it. It's purely for you guys, all right?
Oh, yeah,
and you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car, except the Revelation CBT3 keys.
Maybe you can get a car in Revelation when the game goes down in 5 years and they decide, let's put in modern stuff.
I got those damn kitty cat balloons, hot air balloons.
Terra has cars, why not?
Yeah, MapleStory's got them, Terra's got them. Let's add some cars to MMOs, make it, spice it up.
Well, is this our famous segment now? Are we moving into our interesting shit of the week?
We
the
are.
Things that impact us and moved us and
brought tears to our eyes. Yeah, we said tears to the eyes. I got to bring up HeroWarz, all right? That's tears.
Take it away.
Tears are coming to the eyes, boys. HeroWarz is temporarily shutting down on March 26th. It's not what you want to hear if you play HeroWarz, because anytime a game temporarily shuts down, it's usually a pretty bad sign. I mean, temporarily can very often just turn into permanent, unfortunately.
I like the indefinitely, temporarily.
They say it's going to take possibly at least a year. So
what?
Ooh, a year?
Yeah, that's what I'm reading. Apparently there's a fact that says it may take until spring 2018.
It's a long time.
I think a lot of that is that, so they started putting in changes. I mean, I've said it before that it was 32 pages of changes, apparently. So they started putting in changes. I imagine they didn't put in enough changes, so it's different from the Korean version, but it's not as different as they want it to be and as cinematic as I hear they want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And they also didn't have the PvP mode, which is being completely redesigned, I hear. So, I mean, there's a lot of work that's going into this, and I think they may have just released it prematurely.
But seeing as, they felt that way, why did they just release... Because the South Korean version is still going. I mean, obviously, we don't have a gauge on how successful the South Korean version is. Why not just... Why even redevelop it from the get-go? I mean, as you said, they did want to change a lot, but maybe that was a bad decision?
I don't know. I mean, I think the developers just saw an opening and they went for it.
I feel like too often they feel like they have to polish it up for Western release, and that kind of ends up, stalling it out. Just release it as is. I think the costs are lower that way too, and when your costs are lower, they have a better chance of success too, in my opinion.
Please get rid of that browser plugin to launch the game. That would be and put it on Steam. All right, put that game on Steam. I think you'll do a lot better.
I was saying the content was lacking and balance was wacky, and obviously the browser plugin is definitely not good.
The browser plugin was problematic because it was a browser plugin, and then you had to install a matching launcher for the browser plugin, which then installed the game.
Yeah, big problem.
And it was a matching launcher. It wasn't like an all one size fits all launcher. It was a matching one for your browser. I mean, it was so weird.
You know, a lot of the Korean and I think Chinese games still launch from a browser, if I remember correctly, because you do have the Nexon Game Manager for Korean games. You have
most
to,
of the Korean ones. I don't think Chinese ones do really.
It's just silly. I mean, come on, put it on Steam already. That's your best chance of success.
Yeah, I hope in a year from now we see it. It's on Steam, and I think it will do really well because it'll get the publicity it needs and an easy install. I think it could do much better. But you know what? I got to give them this. At least they see issues. They want to fix them. They're willing to take the time. I guess it's better. And I don't think it ever got the widespread awareness. No, I mean, we talk about it because we're MMOs.com, but maybe this way when I guess it fully releases, because it wasn't really a full release at the time, it does much better and they get it right. They get whatever it is they want it to be.
I think I feel like this game would benefit a lot from being on Steam because I feel like it's actiony and people who like typically think MMORPG, they think they have a very specific stereotype, and I feel like HeroWarz is one of those games that would appeal to people that don't necessarily love MMORPGs because people when they think MMORPG, they often think like weak combat, you know. But some of the combat in HeroWarz is actually a lot of fun, and you got damage charts. All right, damage charts for the win. So this game would rock on Steam. I think it has a much better chance on Steam, more so than typical MMORPGs.
And I also think it can't be understated that developing the game, like redeveloping it for the Western, like the global version, while it's live, is like maybe more than they were willing to take on. I mean, they may have thought they could have done it, but maybe once they saw like how many like balance issues and how many problems people were having with like various changes they were making, maybe it was just too much to do like the entire redevelopment, keep the Korean version alive, and deal with all the issues that people were like leaving the game over actively.
Yeah, developing live, not a great idea.
I just hope it's not dated, even more so in a year. That's a lot in gaming terms. That's a long time.
Remember, Erhan, the average PC is not too great, so it won't be dated for the majority of people.
Also, remember the larger MMO genre doesn't advance as fast as other games.
All right, we'll see you in a year. All right, what's next on the docket?
Are we ready to cry again? We're doing a lot of crying today.
Right, do the crying.
I need our little. We have our little. Here we go. So anyway, Asherons Call, if you haven't heard, is going goodbye forever, unfortunately. And there was quite a heartfelt video of a older gentleman who has played Asherons Call for years, and what he thinks about the game and how he feels about the closure. I think we should just watch this video.
Yeah, let it run.
I haven't seen it.
Sure, good. Watch it then. It's quite good.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
Look at the 3 monitors. And he's got his buffer. He's got his team. Okay, Grandpa, tell us a little bit what you're doing right now.
I'm gonna get my characters to go fight a war. This character was developed in 03.
Holy crap.
I have one that was made in 99. This character is played for 3 months, 3 days, and 3 hours. That's my bow character.
What's the name again?
And that's Blackheart, and Moss Zapper is the one that was created in 99. It's a bunch. I've created friends from England, New York, all over the States. It's a great game.
Do you have any funny moments or favorite moments you've had with this game?
Yeah, at the beginning I have to lie down in order to heal. The game has come a long way. And I've had a lot of fun playing.
Do you think you'll be able to find a game similar to this one? Did you check out anything
No,
else?
I don't. Everything now looks like crap compared to this game.
PvP or PvE, Grandpa?
I tried the game
Dark Tide?
Dark Tide, but it wasn't my style of game.
What? Can you tell me that?
Because I didn't like getting killed by friends.
Tell us that one story where you lost all your gear.
Yeah, I got pissed one night and went on the game. Big mistake.
What happened?
Well, I lost all my gear. I came home almost naked.
Miss the most.
A time that I can call my own. It's a great time when I had it. Yep. See ya. Well, I've always been in leaf call pretty well. I've got a total of something like 80 characters, I'm sure. That's what I got in total with all my games.
It's a lot, boss.
Yeah, take care. That's it.
You're done. You're sending me away.
I am.
Do you want to blow a kiss to your new
Well,
fans?
I know, I've had my fill.
Okay, love you, Grandpa.
I love you too.
All right, that was so endearing and like sad in some ways, but
A time I can call my own is probably the best summary.
Yeah, that was
Playing
really...
a game, real heartfelt.
So
My
But
favorite
everything
line.
looks like crap compared to this game, though.
Yeah,
That's...
yeah. I know what you said. Everything else is crap compared to Asheron's call.
so that's how you know he's a real gamer.
Yeah.
can we also just talk about how he's what every gamer should aspire to be? 80 alts, and he still puts 3 months into one of them.
Yeah, that's insane. That is nuts. I love how he multi-boxes too. He's like, everyone else in the game is shitters. I gotta play with my. I
Yeah.
control my
Yo, that guy's got triple monitor. That's more than a lot of you scrubs out there.
I think he literally has multiple computers though, not like triple monitors on one.
It's a very humanizing video because it shows you, we see Asheron's Call is shutting down, right? And we think, okay, none of us are playing Asheron's Call. But then we see this guy, because most of the time we look at people and we just see a username. But then we see this guy, older guy, and he loves the game. He's not like crying or anything, but he's just having a good time. And it just reminds you there's people playing these games and they love these worlds. And when they shut down, they're without a home. I mean, at least this guy is. And it's unfortunate, it's sad, and it kind of it gets you right in the heart there.
Yeah, it really shows you, how, for us, if a game we like shuts down, we can still hop into a new game. But I mean, at that age and with that kind of investment in time, based on his lifespan, he really literally cannot put that many years into another game. He's out of rope. He doesn't have enough rope for another game like that. So it's a much bigger hit.
He's been playing since 1999. He said, I believe, his first character. And he has 80 alts. That is nuts. 80. He must. Wow, that's incredible. He's a real gamer. He's got a toilet paper next to his desk too, right? Every real gamer's got
I
toilet
saw
paper.
that.
All right. It's way more efficient than tissues. All right. Tissues are more expensive. You get way more mileage out of toilet paper. Good deal.
And
It's true.
the sad part about this is it really didn't have to happen because over a year ago, I believe, the Asherons Call people at Turbine said that they wanted to help the community keep the servers running as a private server, basically, like an authorized fan project, and that completely fell apart. So that was a real double whammy because someone like him, even playing a few months ago, probably was under the assumption that even if Turbine let the game go, he wouldn't have to go anywhere. Everything would be the same on his end. So
How did it fall apart? What happened exactly?
they never announced it. They just when they decided to shut it down, they said, "Oh yeah, about that whole letting you guys run the server. Yeah, no, that's not happening."
And it was like, sure. The problem was they literally said, "Don't worry, guys. We're gonna release tools to let you make your own servers. It's going." The developer said this, like, it's gonna happen. Don't worry. Like, we're working on this. We want the game to go on. And like, never mind. We're not gonna do that. By the way, the game is shutting down, and we're not doing that.
That's really scummy.
It is,
Yeah.
Yeah, we gave them like the Grinch award because that was right around Christmas. They announced that news that the game's gonna shut down for good.
Wow.
That sucks. I mean, I think we can all aspire to be this guy again, to be, 74 years old playing video games.
That's the dream.
The dream.
Probably will. I mean, we've all been playing games this long, right? So what's
Yeah,
gonna make it
we
stop?
ain't stopping anytime soon.
Just mean that this guy started late. That's it.
Yeah.
Actually no, he didn't start. He probably started like right when it, right at the birth of MMO.
Yeah, there you go. He didn't start late. He literally played one of the first MMORPGs. All right.
Fun fact: Asherons Call came out about a month after EverQuest, so it's definitely older than the 21st century. There you go.
Holy crap, dude!
Wow, it's a fun way to put it, isn't it?
He's like your. That's like an elder I can respect right there. You know?
This just in. Shu does not respect elders except for this guy.
I can imagine this guy killing somebody. Be like, yo, get shat on, kid. Vent.
This is
Do you think he learned all that lingo? Like even though he's like,
Oh,
I
definitely.
mean, he
Yeah.
has to, right? He's like
Yeah.
a gamer.
It's
Do
actually
you think
the
he
most
calls people
toxic
noobs
player.
and stuff? And
Oh, that'd be hilarious. If this guy was like the most toxic gamer, and, like he just nonstop rages at people in game. Oh, that'd be hilarious. If that was true. I'd have more respect for him then, right?
it would have been great, cause like his office looks like so like normal like older person office. It'd be
Yeah.
like hilarious if it had like a couple cans of Monster that were like opened already and they're just like sitting.
He has Mountain Dew Code Red on his table.
Yeah.
There's a deleted scene where he said, "Watch this, Susie. I'm gonna call this one a shitter." And he said,
He PKs newbies.
And he like types it like real slow, like get good scrub.
You can actually say, yeah. You can say, get shat on, kid, and you can actually be justified in calling someone a kid. All right,
I
this is
know,
true.
right?
You can call anyone a freaking kid, and it would be legit.
I guess in summary, we're sorry to see Asherons Call go, and I hope the people who played it and invest all their time can find another home. But
Yeah.
it's fuck off, Daybreak.
It's funny, that mentality that this is the best game and nothing else compares. It really does hold water for a lot of us. I think we all have we all love I love Ultima Online, even though the game is ugly as fuck today, and I would never recommend it to anyone today. Despite that, I still think it's the best game, the best game ever made, right? In my mind, because of how I grew up with it, and I can still look at it today and play it and enjoy it. But in my mind, that's the best game, and just like in his mind, Asheron's Call is the best game. Everything else is shit compared to it. And I think we all kind of feel that way, at least to some regard, to our favorite games.
Absolutely.
People say RuneScape, for example, is their best game, and nothing else compares.
There are a lot of attempts to save Asheron's Call going on right now, like a change.org petition. I think there's a
those
private
new
server
things.
effort. There's a few things going on. I think someone was trying to raise money to buy it.
Oh wow.
We need a presidential decree to save Asheron's Call. All right, somebody call up Obama. All right, get him.
Obama's on the way out. We gotta call Trump.
Before he comes out, before he gets out. All right, Trump is a modern gamer. Right? He plays Black Desert.
He plays
right?
Call of Duty. What are you talking about? Trump is a Call of Duty player. Please, it's written all over his face.
What is Trump gonna do? Go this is the best game that we have ever played. The people are tremendous. The game is tremendous. We must save
Great.
it.
Gonna say make MMORPGs great again, and then we're gonna force Asheron's Call to come back, and that's how you win. This is the last podcast with Obama in office.
Wow.
So
that's
we
true.
all know now that Obama's gonna go play MapleStory for the rest of his days.
He's gonna get the 5th jobs. He's level 200.
He'll be our podcast guest next week.
Oh
So
wow.
we're really looking forward to it.
Excellent.
Do you know that there's a game that we thought was dead in the water, and it's actually been saved? It doesn't happen too often. It was the repopulation. Whether or not it's saved may be a different story, but Idea Fabric, the company that owns Hero Engine, actually bought the repopulation, and it's expected to return in the first quarter of 2017.
This whole thing is baffling because first off, Idea Fabric doesn't have enough money to keep the servers open. It seems like. Then the repopulation gets turned into an Unreal Engine 4 game that starts as a survival game. Now the developer of the repopulation is selling it and focusing on their survival game, which isn't doing very well, by the way. And it's sad because everyone that owns the repopulation got a free copy, so it's really, really not doing well.
Yeah, I played it.
And where the fuck did the money come from? I don't get it. Did it
They
sell
suckered some
for like
investors.
$5?
Probably. It's one of those situations where the developer ran out of money, and essentially they were probably bought for like $1, and then they're going to keep developing it now. And the guy who sold it probably gets a piece of the revenue, and he probably still works there, the designers. So there's no way this sold for any meaningful amount of money.
The designers aren't with them anymore. Designers are still working on Fragmented.
Oh, they probably bought it for like nothing.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
There's a survival game that really isn't doing well. The one that they got, everyone that bought the repopulation got it for free.
Let's remember too, Fragmented was developed to try and raise money to keep developing the repopulation.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's very weird to hear this turn of events.
Well, also it was developed so that the people that are paid for the repopulation would have something to play while they redeveloped it.
But that was the biggest bullshit I heard. I remember the second that a survival game was announced, this repopulation, this whole company was bullshit. Okay, you can't say like, oh, we're gonna dedicate all our time to making this new game so we can better work on our old game. No, that doesn't work. You know, you want to make a game, you work on it. All right, you don't make a second game to fund your first game. Because
what does that say about making survival games? It's just cut and paste. You go on GitHub and download some pre-made survival game package, and you just slap it together and throw it up.
I just don't get where the money came from. I'm so confused. And I just don't get where Idea Fabric went through a restructuring. Like they straight up restructured. So who are they taking off of what is probably now a skeleton crew working on the engine to work on this game? Like what is going on?
It's a good question.
This process is rough.
I think I played this game like over 6 years ago. And is this the one or the role-playing police one?
No, that was Face of Mankind.
Oh yeah. I somehow confused the two. They kind of look similar.
The repopulation, if you don't know, is essentially, at least touted, is a Star Wars Galaxies spiritual game.
It's the one with the ripped-off assets for like the menus and stuff.
No,
not that's
another one.
Oh.
That's another Star Wars Galaxies spiritual.
That's the Voldemort one.
All right.
In
conclusion, Altai has no idea what this game is, so it clearly couldn't have sold for more than like $10.
Maybe 15.
I bought it for $20.
What? You paid money?
You paid more than the Hero Engine guys did, and they got the whole game.
They got the source code.
This just tells you don't buy early access unless you enjoy being screwed.
I've been saying that forever.
And I love to be screwed, so I got screwed.
Nice.
Mission accomplished.
See, no, what you need to do, you need to buy early access game and get at least as many hours out of it as you paid in dollars. Then when it shuts down or they cancel it, you don't have anything to worry about because you've already gotten your fill.
There's truth in that.
All right. Speaking of some quality game design, all right, guys. Shu and I did a late night live stream, I think on Saturday, where we came up with the best MMO, the perfect MMO, and you three will be our judge. You two will be our. I can't count you two, Matt and you three. Matt got being all.
Jesus Christ!
I forgot people on this podcast.
2 points for you calling it perfect already.
Okay, well, that's what it's. It's actually called PMMO. The P is questionable because P stands for perfect, but you can put whatever you want there. This is our magnum opus, Show. This is our magnum opus.
Oh God, it's a picture.
All right.
What is going on?
I'm gonna
Why
walk
are there
you through.
boobs in the combat section?
I will walk you through the thought process of two genius designers. All right. We worked on this with the help of our viewers. All right. Step
there
one.
Are boobs in the combat section.
It's very important. You'll understand why. All right. Step one. We're copying the character creator in Perfect World /BDO. And I put pictures there and why that's amazing. All right. We're gonna have the best character customization ever because we're gonna copy Perfect World and BDO. Our progression will be like Final Fantasy 14 and Final Fantasy 11 because we thought we as a stream came up with that was the most interesting class system in games, and our combat system is going to be like action combat similar to Boob and Soul, which is why you see a lot of boobs there. All right, we're going to copy Terra and Blade and Soul, and our environments will copy Moonlight Blade, Black Desert Online in terms of seamless open world, Bless, and with persistent housing elements and crafting similar to Rust. Perfect game, yes or no?
Okay. The only Western game I see in this picture is Rust. So, for me, too much weeb right off the bat.
What?
Wow.
What's wrong with the concept? We're combining essentially we're combining elements of games. I don't think any of these elements are mutually exclusive either. I think these can all work well within each other.
You know, I found like on that real quick
Yeah.
on what Alte said. I found that a lot of people use that excuse all the time. Even when I worked at Riot, like I'd have an idea, I'd be like, "Hey, what do you guys think about this idea?" And they couldn't refute anything about my ideas. They would say, "Oh, that's too weird." I'm not even joking. That like actually happened.
Well, remember, you
When people use that,
the opposite happens just as often. Don't forget, a lot of people won't play games, right, that don't have enough of that kind of colorful, cutesy look. So I think you need a happy medium between the two.
I don't think you should be able to say that about anything either way. Like what? That game is like from China, so I don't want to play. Like what?
I feel like Dark and Light is going to hit a few of these.
Yes, it is. It's gonna hit a few of these, I think.
I think the only one it's not going to hit is like the progression system.
But I think, I mean, obviously our goal was to just kind of find what elements of games we really like and put it in a theoretical. I mean, obviously putting all this together into a coherent game is really the challenge and the impossible part, or near impossible part. But I do think these elements could work really well together. I think no other game. I think survival games are the only games that really capture some of the like real world resources and the real world like crafting, persistent crafting and stuff. So that element of Rust and survival games I really like, and I would love to see that incorporated in like like the world of Moonlight Blade felt massive, right? And the problem is, of course, with a massive, cool looking world, is it's not going to have meaning and context. But you can add that context pretty easily, I think, if you have the crafting stuff in there, and because players can make their own villages, their own towns, the same way you do in Rust. And I don't know, I would just gush of an MMORPG, like a Rust MMORPG with action combat and progressive classes. Like that would be like my dream game.
Sounds like Nostaria, but Nostaria got canceled ages ago.
Well, never played it or heard of it, unfortunately.
Nostaria had this really cool idea where it had like kind of survival game type resource gathering, and what would happen is there would only be a certain amount of resources in the world, and buildings would decay. So whenever a building decayed, the resources that were used for the building would go back into the pool that could then spawn as like trees or rocks.
That's cool.
So there was a limit. There was a finite amount that was recycled based on when buildings decayed. That's really cool.
How long ago was this? Because I feel like maybe the technology
10 years ago.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure like the concept was amazing. I think if they tried to do that today, I think it'd be a little easier because we've already seen games like implement some of the technologies.
Or at least 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But whatever.
All right, who wants to fund this on Kickstarter, boys? We need at least $100 million.
I think we need to copy this image exactly.
Oh yeah,
And
and
put it
I'm
on
gonna
Kickstarter.
mail this to Nexon corporate headquarters in South Korea. Okay, not even the California headquarters. This is going to the corporate headquarters in a single envelope with no other information. My contact at the bottom will say, no contact information. MMOs.com is already on it. They can find me from there. We'll send it to Blizzard. We'll send it to Tencent. We'll send it to everyone. All right. Snell Games, why not?
Why don't you just put it up on Indiegogo? Just
See how much money we get.
put
Email
on
this
like one of those like Duker Kickstarter sites.
That's the plan,
I think
boys.
what really sells it is the writing with a mouse.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was key. That's Matt. There's a reason I did that. See, it shows the handcrafting like soul I'm putting into the work. Right. If you just type it out, there's no soul. All right. Doing it with my hand makes it very personable. All right.
Personable.
That's a word I just made up. I think it's a word, isn't it?
Personable.
Personable.
I'll take your little sheet here seriously for a minute. One critique or suggestion I'd have is for the environment section. I don't think it's enough to have a big open world. In fact, by itself, that is basically nothing. I think
I
what
agree,
you need,
which is why the Rust is in there.
No, even that. You need context for me. And what I'm especially for an MMORPG, if it's going to be a world I spend time in, I want it to be living and breathing. And for example, there's many ways to do that. You can rely on your existing franchise like WoW does, right? Where when I go to Stormwind, I'm impressed not just by the buildings and stuff, but the fact that I've seen this before in other games. Or EverQuest, where you had the walking NPCs talking to each other. You could talk to them and do like quests. Not WoW Quest where you kill 5 rats.
No, player towns. Remember Star Wars Galaxies? The towns that people made on their own? Like,
Sure.
That's what the Rust element throws in there. I feel like I agree with you. A massive world in and of itself, like the one we saw in Moonlight Blade, in and of itself has no real meaning and context, which is why the Rust element of people crafting their own towns, their buildings, can really that's where all the value will come from. Otherwise, and the resource nodes can be placed in like difficult to reach spots. The more dangerous places you put them, the better resource they are. Like you can add the context through player created content.
Okay,
That's
so
the best thing. It's like
Yeah.
it's player created content. It's just free content for the developers, really.
You remember Star Wars Galaxies? There was a player town we
yes,
hanged out at.
yes, but you know what else Star Wars Galaxy had? A hint. It's the first 2 words.
Star Wars.
Okay, so my point is, in Rust, where you play for a day or a week before the next wipe, you know,
There won't be any wipes though in this.
no,
It's
I
not
get it,
supposed to be
but
wiped.
that's why it works in Rust. It won't work in MMORPG. People are going to get bored of this contextless world. If it's just player, they
But
you,
games
you
like
need,
Moonlight Blade exist with a giant world and no context.
Well, if you're making if you're talking about Altai's perfect MMORPG, I need a context. I want to be a character in a bigger world, and that world could be the Star Wars world. It could be the World of Warcraft world, or it could be
Here's the problem,
EverQuest.
Erhan. My critique of that problem. No world created by developers can match that. It has to be a living world created by players, updated by players. A living, breathing world is the players in that world.
I mean, they don't rule each other out. You can have the player-run towns within a larger context.
Well, that's why you designed the rest of the other stuff, other village and stuff.
I also need a deep lore. Some
There you
type of I need to see narrative, environmental narrative. Like I want to see that there's a world that exists independently of my actions, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm drawn to a game like Vanilla, where I already know the context, right? And I feel like this world's going to continue to exist without me or other players. Because if you look at Rust, have you ever been to a Rust server after a couple weeks? It's just a shit show. I mean, dated Rust servers are fucking shit shows, par excellence. It's just buildings everywhere. They have, it's just garbage everywhere. It's it's dilapidated buildings. It's signs with middle fingers on them. You need that reset. So there's a happy medium between the two. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but I think you definitely need a little bit of both. Remember, not everybody cares about just that emergent gameplay element. In fact, I think more people don't want to be bothered with that or don't look for that in their games, and that's why sandbox games are appealing to a certain personality where that is your core gameplay.
But why not have I mean you could kind of have both in a way. Like you could design it in such a way that the world reclaims itself after a while,
I mean,
if you don't you don't log into this build. I mean, if you don't if the owner doesn't log in or use this building, it eventually decays and then trees grow again, and you could just have that happen.
So what we've
it
learned
goes on without you.
What we've learned from here, this discussion is Omar and Shu in fact failed at creating the perfect game, because there are some critiques being had here, and we'll have to revisit the idea perhaps in the post game.
Einstein was critiqued. All the great geniuses were critiqued.
All right.
When Shu and I raise $1 billion for this game, you will not be on the credits, sir. You will not bask in the wealth.
Time for some peer review. All right, get peer reviewed. Let's get out of here, guys. Anything else? Last words for you two before
Matt, take it with Dark and Light, and then we'll cut it because this is kind of related.
All right, so moving on to what I think this sounded a bit like. Dark and Light it's been confirmed it's not coming out this month. We don't know about next month or the month after that, but it's not going to come out this month.
But it was confirmed to come out by the end of 2016 at one point, and then the JK.
Yeah,
confirmations don't mean jack.
Not this month, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, actually, yeah, you're right, Matt. What they kind of described here, Dark and Light has the best chance of matching of anything we've seen so far. So hopefully we'll get to play that sometime this year.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you guys haven't seen it, there is a pretty badass video that is on IGN of somebody taming a dragon.
Ooh.
Hold on, let me drop this in here. There you go. Somehow they got an exclusive, I think.
Wow. Snail Games. Born to Dream.
I've never heard of this game. Is that bad?
I think we talked about it. It's like Ark, but more persistent, more players per server. And it's
bigger.
It's Chinese and it's bigger.
Oh.
Everything in China is bigger.
It's
Except the dicks.
Wow. All right, we're gonna call it for YouTube right there. Bye, guys.
Wow.
I speak the truth. All right, later, guys. For YouTube, at least.
Holy shit.